Equity investment in open access solar solution, is it worth it? Why do I need to invest? Is it risky? Will my capital be at risk? What would be the downside? What is the upside? These are some of the questions that most of the industrial customers grapple with while opting for open access solar solution. So in this video, I will clarify why the equity is required, what is the logic behind it, and is it risky or not risky, or it is worth enough to invest that equity in the open access solar solution. Hi, my name is Gaurav Kawatra. I am the director at Infinia Solar. We are one of the country's leading marketplace and renewable energy advisors, having served 21 customers across 15 states and delivered roughly 55 projects totaling 112 megawatt of open access and rooftop solar solution. And this has helped all of our customers save roughly up to 50% in their electricity cost and replace up to 60% of their requirements through renewable energy sources. In my recent meeting with the plant director of a MNC major based out of this company is based out of Europe and have a couple of plants in Maharashtra, the plant director asked me, Gaurav, through our interaction and through the last video that you shared with me, I'm clear that there is a clear advantage in going for a group captive structure over the third party structure. But can you help me break down why do I need to invest equity under the group captive structure? Is there a way that we can move away from this equity? Or if you can provide me clarity so that I can also go back to my foreign management and give them clarity that why the equity is required. And as the common saying is, the clarity creates conviction. So I explained him step by step reason, rationale, why the equity is required. And then I decided to make a video so that I can add value to all of you as an industrial and commercial customer, because I'm sure you also is grappling with this seeking clarity on why the equity is required. So in this video, I will give you step-by-step clarity, the reason behind investing equity and how it will help you get waiver on the cross subsidy surcharge and the additional surcharge. So before I get into giving you clarity on why you need to invest equity, I just want to give you little background, little facts about the cross subsidy surcharge. What is cross subsidy surcharge? Why it is levied? Because it is very related to get this answer. So, and also what type of consumers that a distribution company serves. So let's get into let's say for example you are procuring a power from X distribution company, let's say MECDCL in Maharashtra, or Paschimachal Vidyut Nigam in Uttar Pradesh. There are multiple distribution companies that you as an industrial consumer is procuring power from, and that distribution company also caters to other type of categories. Let's, for the example, for the simplicity sake, let's say they are catering to 4 type of consumers. One is the commercial customers, second is the industrial customers like yourself, then they are catering to residential customers, and then they are also catering serving to agriculture customers. There are multiple categories of customer in technical terms, but I want to make it simplify and give you example by categorizing into these 4 customers. Now for example, let's say this distribution company has to earn a revenue of 6.5 rupees per unit to make a decent margin and to make its return on equity. So for that, let's say they are charging commercial customer a 9 rupees tariff, the industrial customer a 8 rupees tariff or 7.5 rupees tariff. But if you look at in the residential and the agriculture customers, the tariff is significantly low. For example, in residential customer tariff is around 6 rupees, 6.5 rupees, whereas the agriculture customer get electricity tariff or electricity at the rate of rupees 1, in some of the states rupees 2. So the point that I'm making is that the residential and the agriculture customer, being the vote banks, are highly subsidized and are not actually paying the real rate of the electricity, and this subsidizing is done by the commercial and the industrial customer. So that is what the cross subsidy surcharge is called as. The surcharge which is levied on the industrial and commercial customers to cross subsidize the residential and agriculture customers, so that the distribution company makes the money that it intends to make to earn its return on investment. So this is what purely the cross subsidy surcharge is. So having understood the cross subsidy as a concept, let me give you a brief. This cross subsidy surcharge varies from state to state. In some state like Maharashtra, it is somewhere around 1.5 rupees per unit. In UP, it is currently at 1 rupee. Some time back, it was 1 rupee 57 paisa. So it varies. For industrial customer, this is a separate number. For commercial customer, the number is slightly higher. So the cross subsidy surcharge varies from state to state. So now, having understood this cross subsidy surcharge and it's leviable on commercial and industrial customer, and the price is also very high, 1.5 rupees, 2 rupees, 1 rupees. That's a very, very high number which is to be paid by the industrial and commercial customer. So all the industrial customer, commercial customer went to Ministry of Power that that they have to pay the cross subsidy surcharge, which is making the economics or making the tariff very high for them. So Ministry of Power came out with Electricity Act 2003 and subsequently Electricity Rules 2005, which clearly says that if the project is captive to any industrial or commercial customer, then that, which means captive means the khud ka project, their own project, then they don't have to pay then the cross subsidy surcharge is not leviable on that project. So this is what the regulations talked about. And then the definition of the captive, which is being defined by the Ministry of Power, is that industrial customer should have minimum 26% stake in that project from where they are producing the power, and 26% in the equity of that project, not at the total project cost level. And also they should procure minimum 51% of the power that they have subscribed to from that project. So thus you by investing 26% equity of in the project, of the equity of that project, you invest 26%, and that project becomes the captive project, and thereby the cross subsidy surcharge, which is very high number, as I already given you example, from 1 to 1.5 rupees per unit depending on the state, you get complete waiver on that. So that's one of the biggest advantage and one of the biggest why of investing equity in the open access solar project, to make this as a captive project. And recently, last year, the Supreme Court of India came up with a judgment in one of the cases that if the project is captive, dedicated captive, in that case the additional surcharge, which also varies from 1 rupee to 2 rupees in some of the states. For example, in Maharashtra it is 1 rupee 30 paisa, it also becomes non-leviable. So by investing equity, you make that project as the captive project, and thus enjoy waiver on the cross subsidy surcharge and the additional surcharge, which is a significant savings, and thus the project economics becomes very, very attractive for you. So I just want to summarize what I covered in this video, which will provide clarity to you why you need to invest equity, and this will help give clarity to your board as well, because this decision has to be taken by the board about the equity investment. So I'll just quickly summarize. So I covered what is cross subsidy surcharge, what are the different type of consumers that distribution companies serves, and then from there I covered what is the cross subsidy surcharge, which is leviable on industrial and commercial consumer, and also I covered how much is the quantum, which is very high, which ranges from 1 to 2 rupees per unit. Then I talked about Ministry of Power Electricity Act 2003 and 2005 electricity rules, and how it defines captive, what are the conditions for it to become the captive, which is 26% equity needs to be invested and 51% power needs to be consumed. And then with this 26% investment, when the project becomes captive to you, you get a complete waiver on the cross subsidy surcharge. And then also I covered, as per the recent Supreme Court order, the additional surcharge is also not leviable, which is also very high per unit charge, roughly 1 rupee 30 paisa in Maharashtra, and then in other states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Gujarat, it varies, and the range, it ranges from 50 paisa to 1.5 rupees per unit. So in a nutshell, there is a very attractive savings by making a project as captive. That's why you need to invest this equity in the project. Hope this brings you clarity on why the equity investment is required in the open access project. If you found value in this video, please do like and subscribe. And if you want to know how much equity that you need to invest, what should be the project economics, what is your landed cost, what is your equity investment in the group captive solar solution, please share your email address or phone number in the comment box below. Me or my team will connect with you and set up appointment with you and present you the savings that you can enjoy, and also present you how much investment that you can make. Looking forward to see you in my next video. Thank you.